I just have to tell you that Glenn McQuaid won't be joining us. He's indisposed. But I am going to be the substitute because I feel like I know more about this film than you could possibly imagine. Anyway, basically, Glenn, if he was here, would say that it's an homage to his growing up, watching Hammer films on television, the Universal double bills. He loves the old Dark House specifically. What did he tell you about the script when you actually were sent it, about where it was coming from and his references?
I mean, all what you just said, and promise that Jacqueline is not his mother in real life. He just kind of touched on what it was based on and how it was inspired by his experiences growing up as a gay man in Ireland, a lot of the obligation that people put on gay men to reproduce when we don't want to reproduce or procreate. So there's a lot that he was inspired by.
And Declan,
he's actually a beautiful story with his dad, Charlie. He used to watch the horror films with him, and The Beast with Five Fingers from 1946 with Peter Lorre. That was one of his favourite films that he saw over the years. And this was kind of an inspiration to update it. Sure. So his dad was foremost in his mind when he was making this.
And he also says that he also grew up being gay, and when he was watching programs like the super soaps like Dynasty and Dallas, for him, Stephen Carrington in Dynasty was like the role model in a way. So that's one of the reasons why he wanted to put that sort of melodrama into this particular film. And you can see where that's coming from, because it is very over the top in places. I mean, it must have been great fun to play.
Oh my God, so much fun. I mean, we had such a great time, and it's interesting because there's so much just debauchery on camera, but behind the scenes it was just love and laughter, and it was the best.
Yeah, like we'd get the lines, get the scene lined up, and Glenn would go, let's have fun, advice. And some of the lines have made it into the film, which is great.
Say something, Matthew.
Yeah. Just to echo that, like, I mean, when I got the script, it was incredible. When he gave me the role, I was like, this is going to be fun. And it was incredible fun shit. So, I mean, and you can see that, I'd like to think, on the screen as well. We all had a great time.
I think we all knew the exact movie we were making, so that helped too.
And because the other major inspiration that completely surprised me was The Lion in Winter, Katharine Hepburn, and unbelievable. That's what he thought the Alice Krige character was more or less based on. I mean, I couldn't believe that, because that's one of my absolute favourite movies, I have to tell you, because I can quote it literally line by line. But it's a case of that, again, over the top melodrama, that into family fighting. I mean, so it's all there. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff going on in this movie, for me, I think.
And there's also kind of an homage to Whatever Happened to Baby Jane as well. I remember him mentioning that one too.
Right. How did you meet? I mean, what I didn't know about this guy was that you are a massive horror fan. Who knew? I mean, you were in Glee, we never even knew that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you must have been...
Surprise!
So you must have been delighted to actually get the script.
Yeah, I have never been asked to do a horror project in my whole career, and so when this one came in, I was just ecstatic. And then I remember reading it and just laughing and gasping on every single page, and I knew on page 2 that I was saying yes immediately to it.
And
yeah, the exact same. I sat down and read it in one sitting, and my wife was watching TV, and she kept going, shh! I was like, oh, it's so good, it's so good. And like, there was jaw-dropping moments in it, like especially the opening scene when you lose the hands. And it was like, and it gets the reaction every time. It just comes out of nowhere, and it was just full of twists and turns. There was no wasted space.
Yeah, I mean, when I got the script, it was sold to me as a horror. Like, I read that first scene, I was like, this is hilarious. And yeah, I mean, and doing the audition itself, it was like, whoever gets this role, it's that opening is going to be an incredible introduction to that world, and it really just kickstart the whole movie. Like, so.
the special effects, I mean, how did that all work? I mean, practical, obviously, some of them weren't. Tell me how that all worked for you, working with it.
I mean, sometimes the hands wouldn't even be there because it's all special effects, and sometimes they would be puppeteered by a man in a green suit costume who just kind of do this to me like they were spiders. So it was kind of mix and match. But I feel like the hands, when they were on set, it felt like they were one of our co-stars too. They almost had like their own personality when they were in the room.
Yeah, there was a local guy called Reuben Harvey. And because Glenn was looking at hands, different people's hands, and he was even looking at our hands, going, wonder would that work, you know. And he picked Ruben, and Ruben was there, and he was in a green suit and doing all that, and he goes, geez, you've lovely the dexterity of your fingers there. And Ruben said, no, I'm a pianist. And I said, really? Yeah, I compose. And he ended up composing the music with Glenn in the movie as well.
Incredible. We've got to mention Alice Krieger. I mean, she's a genre royalty as far as I'm concerned. She's been in so many great movies. What was it like working with her?
Magic. She's incredible. She is delightful in real life. Nothing like Declan. But she was just brilliant. And I have a very distinct memory of we were doing one scene when I was in the bed, and she delivered a line so flawlessly, so brilliantly. I just forgot I was in the movie. I was just mesmerized. And then Glenn had to remind me that I had a line. But she was incredible, and I think she's probably the best actor I've ever had the privilege to work with.
And also so generous as well. I mean, I got the opportunity to work with her and Chris, so I mean, walking onto that can be quite intimidating as an actor at my stage of my career, but the two of them incredibly generous and incredibly just, it felt like colleagues the whole way through. Like, it was an incredible process.
Where was that house?
It was called Stradbally Hall, and it was in Portlaoise, in Ireland. And so we all were in Ireland and in Portlaoise for about 3 months shooting the film.
That's a long time. I mean, for this sort of film, I would have thought it would have been a lot less shooting time, but no.
Yeah, maybe like two and a half months, maybe.
Yeah, the pre-production as well, and getting the hands ready and getting the house ready. And we kind of had a deadline, because Electric Picnic could be a big festival in Ireland, and it was Kylie Minogue was coming in, and we were told. So things were on a tight deadline.
Was the family actually staying in the house as well while you were there?
Yes.
Yes, they live in a wing of the house, so they're there the whole time. And they had this very curious corgi that would escape from the house and wander into set. So there are scenes where I would be covered in blood screaming, and I'd see this little adorable corgi just looking at me. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, the house is owned by the Crosby family for 500 years. And Thomas Crosby, he was just so excited. I think it's probably the 10th film maybe that he's allowed to shoot there. But he was very excited about our film. But sometimes we'd be filming and Thomas would just walk into the room and walk across set. And Thomas, it was his house, so he just walked through, and he's in some of the paintings on the walls, and all those paintings were all part of the house.
Wow. I mean, Chris, you don't have to act anymore, really, because you're like a hugely successful author of children's books.
God bless you.
And they're about to be made into, feature films, fingers crossed. I know you've got a development deal. I mean, so when you choose your projects, I assume that, you can really do what you want. I mean, so the fact that you actually chose this, I think shows enormous faith in what you're actually doing. I mean, that you loved it so much.
Oh, thank you. I remember my agent called me and said, we got the script, it's out there, it's wild, I like it, I think you're gonna like it, and I just loved it so much. And I remember I had a Zoom meeting with Glenn, and he said to me, he said, you're a writer, but do you have any notes? Do you have any changes? And I said, no, I think it's great. But yeah, no, I really responded to it, and it's very rare that you get a queer character written like this, who's a real person, who has a soul, who's complicated. Most of the time, queer characters are just props or not very developed. So I was just really thrilled this came my way, and waited 7 years to do it. I was attached to the project for about 7 years before we actually found the funding and started shooting it.
Wow. I mean, is this opening a whole new career for you? I mean, would you love to go on and do something like one of the franchise horrors, for example?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if I did nothing but horror for the rest of my life, I'd be a very, very happy actor.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Come on, somebody, cast it. I want to see the
It's very cathartic killing people. It's screaming. I was having a great time.
Well, you're familiar with Glenn's work, actually, or any of you, actually. I mean, because, he has been in the genre for quite some time. His, association with Larry Fessenden, for example. I mean, did you know his work?
Yeah, well, obviously as an actor, if you're meeting a director, you do your research. And so I listened to the podcast interviews, and I listened to Tales Beyond the Pale audio drama, which he does with Larry Fessenden. And so some videos of when he was doing I Sell the Dead and all. So you get a kind of picture of what he's into, what he's interested in. But the minute you met him on Zoom for the recall, just this lovely guy. And I remember saying, I didn't even think, I said, geez, you've done well for yourself. And he was like, huh? I said, you've done well for yourself. Come coming from Ireland, going to New York for 30 years. And he was like, oh, thank you very much, you know, and he was a bit touched. And we just hit it off, you know, and got chatting, and he's just such a lovely guy. He's an actor's director, because before every time we filmed the scene, we'd do repetition games, and he'd be like, just pick a simple want. So I'd be saying to Chris, I want you to like me, I want you to like me, and he'd be repeating it back to me. And we'd do this back and forth, and it was just a great way of, we do it with Alice and Matthew. It's just a great method that he had, and he wouldn't roll cameras until he was happy that we were all on the same page, you know? Yeah.
Do you find that, Matthew? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like I came on board the project quite late in the day, so just like you, it was a case of doing our research, and also just getting to know Glenn on set, and I got to know a lot more since we've wrapped. We've started doing festivals and stuff like that, and yeah, and even on set, he's like that. He's very generous, and it is that kind of an actor's director, but he's a games, all that kind of thing. He's just a pleasure to work with.
I've just remembered another thing that Glenn says about this film. It's Grayson Manor, but of course Grayson Hall, if many of you remember, was a character, or rather an actress, in Dark Shadows. And this is sort of more or less sort of a tilted homage to her as well, because he loved her so much.
Yeah, the original title, I think, was The Restoration of Grayson Hall, and then for whatever
But it was
reason,
too on the nose for that. Okay. What I love about the film specifically is the ending. I mean, the fact that you've been pitching at each other all the way through, you can't stand each other, and yet you are the two last people standing, because you really can't do without each other.
No, yeah, it's a really fucked up love language. Which is one of the reasons why I loved it. And I do think it's probably one of the most dysfunctional mother-son relationships we've seen in a really long time. Maybe only second to Psycho in dysfunction. But yeah, I think a lot of queer people, well, I think anyone who has a complicated relationship with a parent will be able to relate to it.
Yeah, he said actually he was really worried about showing it to his mother. Because, you know, you can just imagine.
And she was crying when she saw it in Dublin, and thankfully they were tears of joy.
Oh, that's really nice to hear.
She loved it.
Well, listen, thank you very much. Love you loads for coming. Thanks for making the effort, Chris. I really appreciate it. Declan, Matthew. The Restoration of Grayson Manor. For the time being, we have to whisk this man off somewhere really important. So.